MK7.
Right.
That's the most important discussion.
Why?
And vitamin K2 MK7, it ensures that the essential calcium we need only plays its essential role and doesn't play a negative role. And vitamin K2 MK7, there was just recent research published that was exciting that talked about arterial flexibility, that it was revealed that people had more flexible arteries, which is something that is so critically important to retain as we age, because as much as we worry about the resiliency of our skin and the resiliency of our joints, if we can maintain the resiliency of our arteries, right, and our veins, that's even more important for longevity and health. So vitamin K2 MK7, the research, what it basically is, the easiest non-scientific description for vitamin K2 MK7. It's sort of like the police officer of calcium within our body. So we know if we absorb calcium, we need calcium in all our cells. We need high quantities of calcium to maintain healthy bone tissue. But the ubiquitousness, the constant availability of calcium within our body, if there's sites in our body that would be receptive to it, calcium could be deposited there, causing calcification. What stops that process and shifts calcium so it only goes where it's supposed to go and doesn't go where it's not supposed to go is vitamin K2 MK7. That's why I refer to it sort of as the police officer, the traffic cop of calcium, or for calcium within our body. It's one of those ingredients that I said this 30+ years ago about coenzyme Q10, that one day, because no one cared back then, but one day I said this will be considered one of the single most, I've said about vitamin D, yeah, one of the single most important nutrients that anyone would ever contemplate supplementing. I said that about vitamin D 39 years ago. It probably took 35 years for that to take place, for that respect to have been acquired. CoQ10, it probably only took about 15 or 20 years. We're in the infancy with vitamin K2 MK7. I've had it as a product for about a decade. Right. It still is something that you could go in supermarkets, not even find it. Discount stores not even find it. It's the market is only first being created. But for me, it's not about the market, it's about the science. And the science 10 years ago was strong enough and not just compelling to warrant creating it.
And I've noticed that behind the scenes with Andrew, when we've been looking at doing the calcium product, Andrew will put a lot of weight on vitamin K, MK7, because clearly, as you can hear him say, there is a lot to be said here. So I can see that energy and passion coming through you. Oh, no, this is vital.
It's so important because we all have to maintain our skeleton. We're living longer and longer. We don't want to be afraid of calcium and vitamin D, because vitamin D plays a critically important role. Right. You don't want to go through life with anything other than a healthy vitamin D level your whole life. So we want to make sure we have the calcium that we need, but we don't want that calcium going to where it doesn't belong. And what has been recognized and demonstrated in study after study after study is vitamin K2 MK7 plays that wonderful role to ensure that we get all the wonderful benefits of calcium without any of the potential downside of calcium.
If you're looking to order this, remember, special pricing. Everything that we've done tonight is all on special pricing. So this is a good time to be able to do it. I'm a big believer that when you see something and you're attracted to something, or something really strikes a chord with you, to strike. Because when Andrew and I have gone, that incentive might not be there. And Andrew, these are all beneficial things for us in the new year.
Nothing I make isn't beneficial. Everything is beneficial. And it's certainly vitamin K2 MK7. It's one of those products where I used to say this about CoQ10 or glucosamine. I used to always describe myself as sort of the lone voice in the wilderness, that the supermarkets were all busy selling their once daily multivitamin. And certainly I had a once daily multivitamin, but there were a lot of other ingredients that had just extremely important science, but none of the other companies at that point felt it was incumbent upon them to educate. So meanwhile, I wasn't selling much of these products, right, but I was devoting the time to education. So I've been devoting the time to educating about CoQ10 for 35 years, and probably for the first 20, no one was really interested, but they learned. And then eventually, when more and more of the public groundswell, and I think now with the internet, if I talk about something like vitamin K2 MK7, it could stimulate your curiosity. Yeah. You could go online after this show and you could do research and go, wow, He wasn't kidding. This is serious. And anyhow, with our products tonight, I think we have special pricing till midnight on the West Coast.
Yeah.
All of the pricing.
And I'm thrilled that we can, and you can see that. I mean, this is kind of